complicit in a genocide.
Complicity in genocide.
Complicity in genocide.
Complicity in genocide. That's a phrase being heard more and more in countries that are supporting Israel's war on Gaza. More specifically, it's about the bombs and the weapons being used against Palestinians, and the governments that are giving Israel these weapons are now facing an increasing threat of legal action, at least domestically. So first, we have the United States. Nearly 70% of Israel's arms imports come from the US, and that has continued throughout the war on Gaza.
The Biden administration is moving forward with a sale of $106 million worth of tank shells to Israel, bypassing a congressional review process as calls grow for a ceasefire.
The Biden administration has been drawing a lot of flack for this, but it's still quietly authorized over 100 more weapon sales just this month. And this is the basis of a case filed against the government by the Center for Constitutional Rights, a non-profit legal advocacy group.
My organization represents Palestinian human rights organizations as well as Palestinian individuals. And they brought suit against President Biden, Secretary of Defense Austin, and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, raising two claims, charging them with their failure in their duty to prevent the unfolding genocide against the Palestinian population of Gaza, and also complicity in genocide. And the complaint cites the extensive military, material, and diplomatic support that the defendants have provided to the Israeli government.
My administration's support for Israel's security is rock solid and unwavering.
Thank you, America, for standing with Israel today, tomorrow, and always.
Although the judge's opinion, which was that there was a plausible case of genocide, he said that the evidence was uncontroverted. He still said that he didn't have the jurisdiction to hear the case or to issue the ruling. We of course believe he's wrong on that. We hope that the Ninth Circuit will reverse the district court judge's finding.
Noch einmal, was ich schon gesagt habe, Deutschland hat eine besondere und eine gute Beziehung zu Israel. Das ist für uns sehr wichtig und deshalb kann Israel sich auch auf uns verlassen. Wir haben eine klare Position über das, was jetzt notwendig ist.
After the US comes Germany. It's Israel's second largest arms supplier, making 30% of its imports. And last year, Germany's military exports surged nearly tenfold compared to 2022. That's pushed German lawyers to file a case accusing the government of aiding and abetting the genocide they say is being committed in Gaza.
Germany has ratified the UN Genocide Convention and therefore is bound to the rule that genocide has to be prevented and punished. And so this is the responsibility of the German state, and since the German state is not taking its responsibility seriously, and we are going to hold them accountable.
I stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. The United Kingdom stands with Israel against this terrorism today, tomorrow, and always.
The United Kingdom is another major military supplier for Israel. According to the Human Rights Watch, it's approved military exports worth nearly $600 million since 2015, including aircraft, missiles, and tanks. And that's why British officials and ministers are also facing a case filed by an independent advocacy group.
We put that information together and we analysed it and prepared a criminal complaint. And what that revealed for us was that there was evidence for law enforcement agencies to trigger an investigation and potentially arrest individuals here in the UK for their alleged participation in war crime.
Over in Australia, a group of more than 100 lawyers have made history by referring Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to the International Criminal Court. They say he's, quote, an accessory to genocide in Gaza. The lawyers say Australia makes parts for the F-35s used to drop bombs on Palestinians and has also approved other defense exports to Israel.
The purpose of this communication is to ask the prosecutor Khan to investigate the named individuals, and we are alleging two forms of accessorial liability, which includes aiding and abetting the commission of a crime under the Rome Statute, as well as the contributing to the commission of a crime.
In the Netherlands, there's been a case of successful legal action against the government. A group of organizations, including Oxfam and Amnesty International, took the government to court for supplying Israel F-35 jet parts and won an order for a halt.
And the court ruled today in a very clear statement that they were saying like, yes, that's not what you cannot do. You have an obligation on the Geneva Conventions and the Arms Trade Treaty, and you need to be very clear in that you uphold the international law in that regard as well. And you can't balance that with foreign policy factors.
This movement to hold governments accountable is growing, and more cases are being filed in countries like Denmark and Canada. So as the pressure moves from the streets to actual legal action, the question remains, can it somehow stop Israel's war on Gaza?